Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to part 1 and the introduction to my Alien Encounter Challenge. And the main goal for this challenge is to see whether my sim here, Eric, either gets abducted and has some alien babies, or barring that he meets an alien and marries that alien. And they'll probably have kids that way. So to help me in those goals, my secondary goals for this challenge are: 1, he's going to join the scientist career and make it to the top. That is one of his goals. He's going to complete the nerd brain aspiration because that has some use of the rocket ship, and another part of the goals is to go to Sixam, which he'll probably do on his own and also through his work, because that's something you do when you get to the top of the scientist career. And just as a little side fun thing to do, I would like to see if he can complete the elements collection, which is inspired by the Not So Berry challenge, because I know that's a goal there, and it is something I have never actually done. I've worked on it, I've got a lot of it, but I've never actually completed it, so we'll see whether we can get that one done. Now, for this challenge, my sim here, Eric Bloom, is a sim that I have raised from a baby, and he featured in my Abandoned Kids challenge. And he also was in the interim series in between, which was Abandoned Kids, the teen years. So if you want to see him being raised to this stage, you can go back and take a look at that. And I will have the link down below. And I'll try and remember to put a link to where the Abandoned Kids, where it started, up above. But you don't need to watch that. This is a standalone challenge that you'll see the sims that are from her, his biggest sister who raised him, and whatnot, throughout this Let's Play too. But he is not on this on his own. His just slightly older sister, who was also raised by their oldest sister, is with him, Sylvia Bloom. And just to go back and check, Eric's traits are that he has quite a few traits, but his traits that he got from Create a Sim are that he is a genius, he is a geek, and when he aged up to a young adult, I gave him the good trait. So his goal is to be a good scientist, not an evil scientist, not someone he's trying to improve the world and make ties and meet alien people. So, and he has quick learner because he chose originally a nerd brain. I think he actually chose nerd brain, but he chose a knowledge aspiration. It doesn't matter which aspiration you choose, you get the quick learner from any of those knowledge aspirations. He has, as you can see, a bunch of other traits that he got because from just being raised and either earning them from completing some aspirations and some he's purchased, so we won't really go over that too much. And since I have just got Get Famous, he has nothing here for the neutral, reputation, and the unknown, but we'll probably take a look at that. It's not going to be a focus, not to begin with, because I actually did take a look with another sim since Get Famous came out, and I started him in the scientist career, primarily because I've seen a few reports that sometimes when you go to work in the scientist career, this is post the Get Famous patch, that sometimes there aren't sims at work. So I took another save and had my sim go to work, and there were sims there. And this is actually my second time. I did try and take Eric to work, and there was only one sim at work when I took him. So I have gone into the world and had a whole bunch of people join the scientist career in hopes that when he goes to work, they will be there. But I've just done that. So I'm going to send him to work on his own, because it said for all of them that they were going to start on Tuesday. So I don't know whether they would be there or not. And I'm just going to let him go on his own for the first day, and we'll stay home with his sister while they're essentially setting up home in this part. And at the time of this recording, we also have the positivity challenge going on. So we'll probably see if we can get that trait for them, if we can. Now, one thing I like to use a lot of times when I do my, when I play, is I like to use clubs. And so they already have a club, because in between when Eric aged up to a young adult and where they moved into their new house and whatnot, they have gone and done some traveling. They went to Granite Falls, and they went to Selvadorada, where they did some exploring, found some treasures. They had a yard sale. They were in a very small starter house. They earned a lot of money. You can see they have money down there, and that's because I have sold a lot of those, the treasures they made, on the yard sale table with a 300% markup, so that they had enough money to move into a bigger house that they should be able to possibly stay here possibly for the whole Let's Play, but at least for a good chunk of it because they have enough room here. But so they have a club that I had started, and it's Eric's club, and I haven't bought anything yet. But one of the things I'm going to buy, and I didn't use this very much in my Abandoned Kids challenge, but I'm going to use this probably here, is Rally the Troops. It is something I use quite often, generally speaking, and I technically, there's a little bit of a thing, whereas if you're in a club that has that perk, it doesn't seem to matter whether you're actively in that club or another club. You can rally the troops, but I don't want to use that in this case. I'm only going to use it when they have it, so they have it now. But because he's going to be at work a lot during the day, if I want to do anything with anybody at home in the evenings, I'm going to need to boost their needs and stuff. So that's why I thought I would get that, so that we can maybe do a little bit with that, because we're going to see how Sylvia does, and I thought Sylvia would be good for her to come along, because if he does have the alien babies, he may need some help with them. So I've done that. Let's take a quick look at their needs. I mean, given the time that it is, they're probably okay, but he did start the career already, so he is going to be going to work, but he needs to have some breakthroughs. So there's various things you can do to have breakthroughs. Let me see. His hygiene's reasonable right now. One thing you can do is take a thoughtful shower, and the way you can tell is it always has the light bulb beside it. So I'm just going to have him ponder moves for now so that he can do that and see how he does with that, if he gets a breakthrough from that. And I had the walls up. I'm going to put them back in cutaway. I have Sylvia over here. Let's go let me introduce her to you if you haven't seen my other Let's Plays, because she was also raised from a baby. They were a couple of days apart in terms of their age. So let me take a look here at her somology. And it would help if I actually switch over to her. So she is a music lover, she's creative, and she is neat. And she has a muser trait from selecting originally a artistic creativity aspiration. But right now she is working on her archaeology scholar because they were traveling, and so she needs to authenticate some artifacts. So I thought I would have her do that. I probably could also have her switch over and do some painting, because when they left their family home, they did bring a lot of things in their family inventory, including an easel, which I put out, and a whole bunch of things that essentially that they could be given to take with them on their own, since you can't really give them money. But what Eric also has, he is focused, but what he has in his inventory, and we should probably get him to do right away, is he has a bunch of money fruit. Because I gave a whole bunch. I think he has them all. I don't know whether he has more than I'm sure I'm not going to plan. I don't think we need 20 of them, but he has 20. But part of that was also just to give him a bit of an extra down payment. But you can see they're doing okay for money, but bills can be pretty high if you when you have seasons, and if you turn the thermometer on. Now, they are living in Oasis Springs. Their older sister and brother live in Newcrest, but since he's in the scientist career, that this might be sort of an appropriate place for them to live. Now, of course, this is post the update, and so their greenhouse has no foundation, and their house has a slight foundation. This is a house that I had built before, but I didn't notice when I added a small basement here, but when I tried to add the basement so that it went out flush with where the upstairs was, the ground sort of came up and you couldn't see the foundation anymore. So it was a little bit odd, but, and we're going to water, because that will also help him with possibly getting a breakthrough. We'll see whether that helps at all. And I have, I don't know how many so right now I have all sorts of things that I should probably plant for him, but I haven't really set up their garden yet. I guess we could become friends with our Patchy that we have here. I like Patchy, though Eric's skills are already pretty high in general, so I need him to max his logic, because that will be required for the nerd brain aspiration, but his logic is already at, let me see, I think it's 9, and not maxed, yeah, but it's just below. It's 97% complete. His gardening is almost maxed also, So, and his handiness, he's got a little bit more to go, but yeah, he's got quite a lot of skills. So we haven't unlocked this yet, so we're gonna have to keep going. And it looks like is she talking to the plant? She's talking to the plant. I assume you finished that, Sylvia? Still haven't unlocked it. I don't know why we're talking about rings, but he seems to be enjoying that. Let's see, and I'll get this out of the way. It looks like he's getting a bit hungry, so I think it's a good time for us to come and rally the troops. Rally the troops. There we go. And since it's 5 o'clock, the lights just sort of changed, and that's why it actually got dimmer in here, because it's supposedly a bit brighter outside. So hopefully their needs are good, because I'd like them to be in good shape before going to work. Probably could do one more of those. And then I'm going to have him go take a thoughtful shower, so that maybe we'll see. Because I don't think he's got any. Because we normally would get, he's not got any breakthroughs yet. So this is their house. There is a little nursery here in case their sister comes over with her youngest is a baby. Or is a toddler, so there's room for her, and then they each have their own bedroom, and there's a bathroom here that's sort of joint ensuite and main bathroom, and then this bathroom is only ensuite to this room. So there's 2 bathrooms in this house. So I'm going to have him come here and take a thoughtful shower, and it's sort of, I usually like to have pretty open floor plan. There's like space in the middle, for them to grow and need more things. It's just sort of a basic house right now. And then, like I said, I did a very small basement with a flower arrangement table because I saw he wants to buy a bee box, but I'd like to get someone to have the flower arranging skill of level 4 first before I do that. I should take a look at, I don't know who has, I think I gave a lot of the things to Eric and not to Sylvia so much. So I should probably take a look at his inventory, and we'll put some of these dragon fruit down here because they are a very lucrative way of making some money, and I wanted to get some crocus because we need that, and grow fruit tree. Grow fruit is supposed to be decent for fertilizing, but that one is in season all year, so we don't need to put it in the greenhouse. So I'm gonna stick that outside. Let's put it here. So like even the lot is gonna get some trees and stuff from us just planting them. But, and he has 16 more of those. I wouldn't be surprised if our bills are going to be pretty high because we had those money fruit in our inventory. So that'll probably cause them to be quite high for this go round. And he had made a camping mascot from when they went to Granite Falls. He unlocked the schematic for that. Yeah, so I probably should just look through her inventory and see what she has. And I might these are always fun. They're the mosquito fly trap thingies. What do they say? Sixam mosquito trap seed. Not fly trap, just a trap. And bird of paradise. I can't say it's in the best shape. Oh, I have gardening as an activity. That's why they're going automatically to go in and plant the things. And why she's probably talking to them. And I'm going to make sure we have some bluebells because they actually... Oh, Eric has maxed his gardening skill from what I have asked him to do there. The bluebells are good for... Just looking here. That's a bird of paradise. What was this one? I can't see. Was that the same? It is. It just wasn't worth as much. That's why I thought maybe it was different, but it's not. It's the same thing. And a snapdragon. There we go. Because my goal, I'm not trying to I just want to have the garden, and since I have everything, I'm just going to plant it. Since I gave him copies of everything, I probably need to get some more planters and put them out, which I could get him to possibly craft some, but I don't know that I'm going to do that. I think I'll just do it. And we also need to get we have honey. We should put that in our fridge upstairs. Let me see. Because I moved the floor, it went through. So essentially they're just doing some setup. So I'm going to let them finish doing that. And then when Eric goes to work, maybe before Eric goes to work, what we'll do is we'll call the event coordinator and see whether we can both get that started before Eric goes to work. it does still seem pretty dark. And I think he goes to work, I think he leaves at 10. His start time is 10 o'clock. But they may ask him to go at 9, because I think they go an hour before. I can never quite remember that. But I think that's kind of how it works. Oh, it looks like we don't have the regular one. I have seen that happening with people, and this is not, like, this is an old save, so I'm thinking maybe that's why. So let's see whether we can still ask. We can still ask about the positivity challenge, and we can issue a positivity challenge. So we don't have, this is not Millie, I don't know her name exactly, but it's not the right person. But at least it still is going to work, so we can still get it done. So it's interesting that I don't have the right one in this save, but in the save where I did, and it wasn't a new save, it was just a newer save than this one, I did have the right person to come. In my positivity challenge let's play, essentially small little let's play where I did it, I actually had the right sim come. But there have been lots of reports of Jasmine Holiday coming instead, and I have no mods, no custom content in my game, and I also, have, often repaired it after the update, and I also did a deleted my local thumb cache, which is a file that can help sometimes when you have strange things happen. But all those things I did, and they still end up with the wrong coordinator. But it doesn't matter that much. At least we, Leash is functioning the same way. That's the important part. So she wants to teach responsibility. Well, unfortunately, there's no one you can really teach responsibility to, and you want to get to know Eric. I thought you knew Eric pretty well. So now we have 2 boxes here. So, and since she's going to do that, I'm going to swap her over to that positivity challenge, that challenge right there. There we go. So she needs to perform 1 good deed and meet 1 new sim, as will Eric once I do that. Let me switch him over to the same thing. Though he probably won't get much on that today. So now he's going to go to work pretty soon, because we have both unlocked the positivity challenge. But Sylvia can maybe do a little bit of that today, since, like I said, today I am going to send Eric to work on his own, and we're going to go with him tomorrow with the hope that the people that I have added to the career will be there on the work lot when he goes. So let's see. Is there anyone around in the neighborhood? It says it starts in 1 hour, so it is the actual time. It's 10 o'clock. Here's somebody. But is it a new sim? Yes, it is. We can meet a new sim. So we're going to actually do a cheerful introduction. Oh, wrong sim. I was actually thinking it was Eric I was on. He'll do a cheerful introduction too. Now that will make them automatically friends, because they both have the polite trait and they both have the incredibly friendly trait. So those 2 combined usually make it so that they become friends instantly. So we'll see when he gets there whether that actually happens. Occasionally I find it doesn't happen, which in this case I'd be okay. So he's mean. He is a glutton and a goofball. So it's the mean is not a favorite character, not a favorite trait of mine. But it looks like, let's see. So he is married. I'm assuming that. We don't know Bako Jang either. Yeah, they're friends. They did make friends. I couldn't tell for sure whose that was, but theirs I think is pretty max, because I think they're best friends, if I remember correctly. So now we need to perform a good deed, so we can, let me look for it. Tell a funny story. That's an option for a good deed. And why don't we do that also with our Eric, because he's going to go to work soon. But I think, honestly, they're going to do that, and Sylvia is just going to have a quiet day home while Eric is at work, but nothing really much is going to happen. So I think we're going to leave this part here, and in the next part, I will, hopefully we'll go to work with Eric next time, and fingers crossed there will be coworkers there, because you kind of need coworkers in the scientist career, because you need to be able to ask them for metals and crystals and talk to them and various things. They're often required for the work tasks. But we will hopefully be able to do that in the next part, go to work with him and have our first day in the scientist career. So that's it for this part. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye! This has been Jennifer. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more videos of challenge, let's plays, tutorials, and occasional speed builds, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks very much.